No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And here we go. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. Glad you're here with me this morning. It's a Tuesday morning, garbage day. Get your garbage bins out there if it's your day. It's my day, so I did. I'm done. Sun's barely coming up over the trees here in South Carolina. Nice bright orange sky. That's one thing that you learn over on the East Coast is that you really enjoy the sunrises. It's almost like having a sunset, but it's coming up instead of going down. It's really, really nice. I like it. So I was reading an article this morning, and it said that green bananas can prevent and reduce cancers by more than 50%. So I guess they spent a year having people eat green bananas and came up with that conclusion. I hate the taste of green bananas. It leaves that yuck taste in your mouth. So listen, we also learned that there was a U.S. firm's subsidiary sold electronics to China's defense firm linked to that big old spy balloon that we shot down. Of course, everything goes around, right? I mean, there's American companies still doing business in China that's selling to China. No matter if there's a boycott against Chinese products, we're still selling to China, and I'm afraid we're still buying stuff from China. My gosh, we knew that what would come out of that balloon as it landed in the water, that something would have been linked back to America, and sure enough, it is. We always find this out because there are American companies who are not quite as ethical as they should be in selling to a company that we have a boycott going on at the moment. It just happens. Meta, which is Facebook, is poised to cut another 1,000 more jobs. No, they're cutting thousands more jobs in a new round of layoffs. So that means that people at Meta, Facebook, are sitting there in their seats wanting to know, is it me? That happens. I tell you, when you work for a big company like that, and there's an economic downturn, this is what happens. When there's a recession, people get laid off. And that is the biggest problem. One of the good things that I read this morning is that there was a lawsuit that was filed to end the student loan payment pause. There's a big student loan company out there who said this is enough. This pause has gone on for months and months and months, and it's time to stop it. People need to start paying back their loans. So there's a lawsuit in the federal court at the moment regarding that. Very, very, I think it's important. I think that people should start paying back their loans. It's not going to go away. Let's see what the Supreme Court says, but I bet you this will not go away, and those people are going to sit there. Remember, as it sits there, interest is growing on this stuff. Interest hasn't stopped. Payments may have stopped, but the interest keeps calculating. So you think about that for a little bit. So JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon says Ukraine's invasion is a top economic concern. Now, it is. And it's a dumb war that we're having. But this economic concern and the sanctions that have been placed by many countries on Ukraine, on Russia, has caused a lot of various issues. One of them is wheat, the sale of wheat, baking of bread, baking of goods and good food in Europe. It's and also to what is sold to Africa. It has really hurt a lot of different people and has caused a tremendous strain on the pocketbook of people because these prices of these goods and services have gone up. The other issue is that China and Russia have become very close buddy-buddy. China is buying Russian fuel. India is buying Russian fuel. These sanctions are stupid because they're not working whatsoever. It's creating more economic stress upon the world, around on the international community, on various issues. I mean, look at this winter in Europe. People have had to go out into the woods, into the forest, and gather up wood, trying to stay warm, trying to keep their houses warm, because they cannot afford the fuel, which used to flow very freely out of Russia and other countries down into the EU. So it has. So I agree with Jamie Dimon. And if we don't start talking peace pretty soon, it could get worse. That is the biggest problem. Those of you who are living in SoCal, get ready for higher heating and air conditioning bills. SoCal Gas is proposed a $4.9 billion revenue hike plan, and people are upset. Outrage. They're using the word outrage. Outrage. Because their prices for heating their houses this winter jumped 3 times. I mean, it went up 3 times as much as it used to be. My friends, they're in Yucaipa, California. They've been paying about $250 a month, jumped up to over $600 a month. So those kind of bills are a shocker when you get them. They are a shocker. Now, one of the things that, and I've been talking about this also, is that the debt ceiling and cutting of the budget needs to be discussed. And they need to start negotiating it now. There's a report out in Washington that says debt default would cripple U.S. economy, new analysis warns. Well, it would cripple it, and it would lay off a lot of people. What they're doing is they're predicting that there's going to be mass layoffs. And it says the U.S. economy could quickly shed 1 million jobs and fall into recession if lawmakers fail to raise the nation's borrowing limit before the federal government exhausts its ability to pay its bills on time. That came from the chief economist of Moody's Analytics, Mark Zandi. And he's going to talk to the Senate, I guess, today, and that's going to be his forecast. Well, we all know that if there isn't an agreement on the debt ceiling, that there's going to be trouble. We know that. Some of us have even said, hey, you know what? Go ahead, shut the government down. Maybe this will get people to really start paying attention to what really needs to happen. Because right now they're doing nothing. They're just spinning their wheels. I haven't heard anything about what's going on debt. Not a single word out of the White House. Not a single word out of Congress. So what's going on? And we all know what needs to happen. Before debt ceiling can be set, there has got to be some serious cuts to the budget. The president's coming out with his budget this week, and I can imagine what kind of nonsense that's going to be. But we need to start talking about cutting these costs tremendously. You can't set a budget, you can't set a debt ceiling unless you start cutting money. The spending is out of control, and it needs to happen. And this isn't about politics. This is about the survival, about the America that we love. We have an economic crisis at the moment, and people don't want to realize it, but we do. The nation is out of control in its spending, and it's out of control in its debt ceiling. If you look at the interest paid on that debt, it is out of control also. We're up to $460 billion in interest that we have to pay on that debt. That you and I have to pay on the debt. Because they're counting on us and our tax dollars. And the president has come out, he stated it last week, he's going to raise taxes. And raising taxes on the rich doesn't pay for anything. Zero. That's just a political ploy. So we have to be very careful about what the president says, because he's out of control and he has no idea what he's doing. Enough on that. Hey, listen, I got some good news for you. Stanford University has some free classes on their website. And I'll post it down below so that you can go to it and take advantage of it. But they've got some online courses that you can take. Let me give you a few names of them, and maybe some of you can take advantage of it. It's free. If we can get some free learning, go for it. Anyway, Stanford is offering these free courses: Computer Science 101, Databases, Modeling and Theory, Databases, Relational Databases and SQL, Designing Your Career, International Women's Rights, International Women's Health and Human Rights, Quantum Mechanics for Scientists and Engineers, Principles of Economics. Take that course. You need it. It's a free course. Learn as much as you can about the economics of this world. Staying Fit and the Threat of Nuclear Terrorism. So I'm going to put that link down below. Take advantage of it. It's free education. I love free education. I take advantage of it all the time. So should you. So we have another thing that's really worrying out, and I've talked to you about this before. On the heels of the pandemic, borrowers with low credit are falling behind on car loans. Now, this happens. Everyone got all of this stimulus money and they went out and bought cars, and they should never have bought cars because they could never support the payments after the stimulus ran out. So now we have a problem, and that is people are falling behind. I saw a really good article this morning. I'll post it down below also. It says, and this came from Al Jazeera. I love to hear what other outlets are saying and other countries are saying. And they asked the question, will Russian sanctions dethrone the king dollar? And it said the United States dollar has ruled the financial world for nearly 8 decades, since the end of World War II. Now another war is setting the stage for many countries to explore a move away from the dollar for trade, raising questions over the currency's future dominance. So at the end, I'm going to go down to the end, because basically what they say is probably the dollar will still remain the dominant. And it's interesting to understand that when people look at the dollar, they see stability. The only problem is, at the moment, is that the American economy is not showing stability. So people are walking away and trying to design other ways to do it, because right now Russia and China are working together. So they're looking at gold, they're looking at the ruble, they're looking at a whole bunch of different things of what will be the dominance in trade. But the article says that it's probably going to be a very difficult position to take to move away from the dollar, because America represents stability. The only problem is we have a leadership at the moment that doesn't understand the economy. And so we have a slight disability. Well, we have a big disability with leadership. Listen, if you like my podcast, please help and support me by going to buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge. If you would like to set an appointment on business coaching or business advisory work, go to www.lodge.co.com. And if you have a business question, send it to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. Talk to you soon, guys. Love ya. Have a great day. Bye.